It's BitRot, and we're going to be comparing Joust for the Atari 2600 with Joust for the Atari 7800. So we're already into it, and so this is Joust. You play a man on a giant flying bird.
So maybe before we actually start comparing the two games, what are the biggest differences between the 7800 and the 2600?
System-wise, the Atari 7800 is more powerful. It's a 8-bit system, and it has more in line graphically with early NES games rather than the Atari 2600. Actually, horsepower of the 2600, I actually don't know what it is. I don't think it's 8-bit. I have no idea what it is, actually. But the 7800 came out, they had the 2600, then the 5600 came out. That didn't do that well. But they came out with this 7800 that was backwards compatible with the 2600. So people would have been into it, but they didn't release it because the video game crash happened. And then NES came out, and Atari was sitting on these 7800 systems, and rather than tweak them and improve them, they said, let's just put it out as it is. So when it came out, it was already 2 years behind the curve. So although it was a pretty decent system, the sound was the same sound card as the 2600, and so it really didn't do that well. So,
but it was backwards compatible, right? Though, with the you could play the 2600 games on it.
Yeah. So it was still a good buy, I think, even for the time. So the game Joust were basically these little bird people, and you have to jump on their heads, and they turn into eggs, and then you collect them. And as you go, the levels change, and the there's lava underneath you, and it gets harder.
Lava?
Yeah, you'll see in the 7800. This bottom level here,
yeah,
the rungs actually disappear, and then the more advanced version, you can see it's actually supposed to be like lava. So
I just killed you, right?
Yeah, we're not doing that well. The gameplay's pretty good.
Damn it. So we are bird people? I thought
you're a guy on top of a flying bird. It's like Flash Gordon, I think. Didn't they ever?
If you ever saw the original arcade game, it's like there's two kind of like ostriches,
Yes.
large ostriches, and what you're basically doing is you bump into one another, and if you hit them from the correct angle, you turn them into eggs, and then you collect them.
So how does Joust involve? I mean, do I have a Joust stick?
Yeah, there's a Joust stick, and they have a Joust stick, and they'll either knock you off your bird or...
I just thought the bird had a penis and was poking...
Nah, it's not a penis. All you have to do is be above them. You always have to be a little above them.
Right. And
then you turn them into an egg. And then...
See, I wasn't a big fan of the 2600 even when I had it.
Oh.
Because I was always upset that the games, even though it had the name Joust, the graphics didn't look as good as the arcades.
Absolutely not, yeah.
And one of the reasons why I wanted one of these systems was so that I wouldn't have to spend endless amounts of money sliding quarters into the arcade games.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is not anything comparatively to the original arcade.
No, the arcade game looked pretty decent.
Yeah.
It was pretty. You could discern that was a man on a giant flying ostrich with a joust.
Because honestly, I thought I was actually a man on top of a dragon.
No.
So it's
a big bird.
That really deflates my
penis.
My penis and my hopes.
They don't really fly as much as kind of like slightly glide for a little while. You got to keep pushing those things to keep those suckers up.
Yeah, it's...
Well, so this is Joust for 2600. What do you think, guys? Should we take a look at the 7800 version?
Yeah.
Well, before we go, I mean, my overall opinion of this game, though, it's sort of like, it's somewhat fun, but not a ton of fun. I can see it's somewhat of appeal, but it's limited for me, myself.
Sure. After playing
the arcade game of this
Arkham Asylum and then playing this, I'm sure it would be kind of a letdown.
Yeah, and maybe
exactly.
Dave
sees no appeal of this game.
0, almost negative.
I mean, it's I like it. It's passable.
I never seen
Would I spend hours playing this now? No, but
It's good for 10 minutes, though, I think.
Yeah.
It's good for 10 to 15 minutes.
No, it's no Jedi Academy or Jedi Arena
Jedi
or
Arena.
whatever that
Yeah,
was.
yeah, I don't think this is a bad game whatsoever. But I do find its playability a little limited.
Okay.
So I guess we'll move on to the next one. So
Move
we
on
can
to
do
the
comparison.
7800?
Sure.
Okay, sweet.
You didn't see when I started to sleep for a second there, did you?
You fell asleep?
Oh yeah, I was just I was like you're behind your glasses. Just I was out cold. It's like
Here,
what the-
I'll hop on this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Recording.
Oh yeah. Two-player.
Okay.
Right. So,
So we're
this
both doing this at the
is-
same time, or
Yep.
This is the 7800 version.
Okay, now you could see there's actually detail in the platforms. They kind of look like they're made of rock or whatever. You can see below that actually the lobby is not that lava doesn't look that great, but I think it will as the game goes on. Once it starts bubbling, it looks cool.
Now, in comparison to the arcade version, is this
nowhere near as good?
still
Yeah.
not?
Still not.
Still not as good now.
I mean, the arcade version, you could actually see detail in terms of like them being birds.
Yep.
Well, there's definitely a separation between the man and the bird in this one. Like you're two separate things, and you can. It definitely looks more like a joust in their hands. I would say.
If you look down below, like you see the rock, and you're starting to see more detail. Oh, see, look, the
Ooh, fire!
platform is being burned away. So it's not like an amazing difference, but you know, I mean, the Atari 2600, they were one color. So you can see that this is definitely like an improvement, you know?
Well, and in this version, it looks like if you hit the other player, he actually his bird flies away.
Right. He gets knocked off.
Yeah, knocked off. Which in the other one, you both the bird and the man disappeared.
Now, why a grown man would turn into an egg still doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense, but
I'm sure Freud would have a lot to say about it.
right. He'd be like,
Oh, you
whoever made
son
this
of a
game
gun.
wanted to bang their mom. That's what he would say.
No. Oh, it looks like there's also a life counter I see, and scoring points. Whoever is the green, this greenish
I'm
blue.
the green is the automated dude.
Yeah, bitch. No gladiator points awarded.
Because you cheated.
Wave 5, egg have. Run it.
Oh, there's little eggs on the thing. So it's like a free for all right now, right?
If you don't get the eggs, they turn into people, and then that sucks. Nice. Is that everything?
No, I think I see one in the edge over there.
Fuck you.
Sort of. Or no, maybe that's not an egg. Oh, yeah, it was an egg. All right.
You got him. Wave 6. Oh, look. Oh, see, you know, obviously
that's
with
nice.
2600 it would have just disappeared, whereas there's a little more subtlety, you know.
Ooh, you
But you can tell that like you say, the sound card is exactly the same from the other game. There's no real
No, the
quality difference.
there's only a handful of Atari 7800 games that had updated sound cards built into the cartridges
Oh, wow.
to give you better sound, but that's not very often. So what you actually have is, you know, Nintendo's sound quality was pretty great, and it adds a lot to the
play a two-game
playability, you know.
No, absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts about the differences between the two platforms?
I mean, this is definitely much better. But it's still limited. I mean, for me, it always went back to the fact that at this point in time, you didn't really see the games getting comparable to the arcade games until you got to like the Super NES or, you know, the next generation of games. These were, you know, 8-bit limited systems with limited color palettes, limited audio.
Limited fun.
Limited fun. Well, I guess I think that'll about do it. I like the 7800 version better. Looks
Yeah, I
nicer.
think so too. There's a lot of major differences, and I think this one would have been my choice. if I
Closer
had-
to the arcade, but not there by any standard.
Yeah, I guess since I don't have the arcade experience,
Because you're a youngster.
I'm not that much younger though. I
got you by a couple of years.
do, but I don't remember this in the arcade.
See, I remember the drug dealers who used to hang out selling dope in the little arcades on 42nd, like Times Square area. And it just got to the point where it's like, the arcades were just kind of like where all the scummy dredges of life kind of hung out. And I miss that.
I missed it too.
No, I
miss
do.
Dirty, low lit arcades.